Hi everyone, Aquarian Humanitarian here. If you are new to this channel, we have recently put out 20 self-development videos related to mental health, consciousness, mindfulness, and soul missions. We are in a very sensitive and critical stage in our human evolution, and we feel that these videos will help people because this is something not talked about in the mainstream. So most of the things discussed here are not something we learn in school or church, but it helped us. Therefore, we have been sharing them. Today, I am with Sir Tato Malay, and we will continue to discuss galactic civilization and the controversial topic of creation. So, with that said, I want to welcome Sir Tato Malay and the founder of the AM Kamalayan Movement. Kamalayan means consciousness. Welcome, Sir Tato, and thank you for being here again.
Hello, and happy again to be part of this podcast. And definitely, we'll be discussing a lot of, I would say, controversial topics that are never really taught in schools and in churches. So,
Wonderful.
brace up. I mean, uh,
That's
so
wonderful. Looking forward. I always
yeah,
learn
that was
something new.
wonderful. Okay, all right. Now, the thing here is, yun na nga, we finished talking about, or we actually tackled the 15 senses. Remember, I actually said that there are not only five senses that we have to look into, but we have 15
Mhm.
senses. And we discussed definitely, I mean, the first ones, five senses in terms of physical senses, the taste, sense of taste, sight, sound, smell, and touch. So no need to further explain that because many of us learned that in school.
Mhm.
All right. So they were taught in school. Those things were taught in school. Now,
Right.
the next one is mental, the five mental senses. And what are the five mental senses? Memory, which is also being emphasized in schools. No problem with that. Memory. But the next ones are not actually are not given that much focus or attention. Memory and then imagination. Of course, as a matter of fact, when we are caught imagining things inside the classroom, that means we're not concentrating on the teacher. We're not listening to the teacher. We're
Yeah.
actually trying to think about something else. And so exactly that's how I get to be reprimanded most of the time by my teacher because I always um, although I'm looking at the teacher straight in her face, but my mind is elsewhere, imagining whatever I could imagine at the moment. That's how strong my imagination is.
Mhm.
And the next one is intuition. Lalo na ito, intuition. It is never
Mhm.
being taught up to now in schools because
Mhm.
for them, intuition cannot be, I would say, measured. According to schools, the only things that they teach are the ones that they can actually measure. So intuition definitely is something that is hard to measure according to them. So they don't give that much emphasis on that. But it's so important to learn intuition. Oh, okay, what happened?
Absolutely.
I lost my power here. Okay. Anyway, so all right. Somebody pulled my sister pulled the okay, anyway. So I still can be seen naman. Intuition. The next one is uh, reason. Of course, reason is being taught in school. Left brain yan. Most of the things that are being taught in schools, are focused on the left brain. So intuition is
Mm.
on the right brain. Imagination, right brain. Memory, left brain
Yep.
yan. So doon tayo sa left brain palagi, nabigyan ng pansin, nabigyan ng
Mhm.
importance. So reasoning is left brain. That's why we have been taught how to debate, how to really be factual in our way of looking at or when we are discussing things. We find all the kinds of, I would say, reasons that we can find to be able to substantiate what we're trying to explain. The next one is willpower. Willpower is not left brain, it's right brain again. So again, it cannot be measured. So it was a thought to us to have that kind of willpower to be strongly focused on something. I mean, that was not being emphasized to us during the time. Of course, they would say, no, you have to concentrate. But the willingness to really go for really something, I would say, definitely it was not given that much, I would say, help because the teachers themselves didn't have the willpower to really teach students
Mm-hmm.
all the way. And, and the, the moment they find someone who is slow in learning, wala na. The teacher would give up on trying to help the student learn something better. That's how schools are. Kasi majority, if the majority can get it and there are a handful who cannot get it, forget the handful, fail them, and then just pass the majority. That's how they look at it. That's how they do it, actually. Kami, ako, when I became a professor, I saw that that was really a problem because I
Mm-hmm.
experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I noticed that there were some students of mine who were slow learners, I really focused on them. I really helped them. Actually, sa akin nga noon, sabi nga, ay, kay Sir Tato, walang bumabagsak dyan, lahat pasado. Why? Because I made sure that everyone studied and really learned their lessons. Kahit na late, still, tututukan ko yan. I would give remedial classes to those who cannot actually catch up. So,
Mm-hmm.
kasi I know the problem. It happened to me.
Yeah.
So, yun ang ko. Yun yung ginawa kong, I would say, way of compensating for something that other teachers do not do. All right. So next one is what we call now the spiritual senses. And this is what we were not able to explain further last week because sabi ko nga, I might get confused with the definitions of some science. So we just continue na lang today. So practically, this is very interesting because all of the things here, sa five senses say ito, right brain. Kaya definitely, it will not be given importance in schools and in churches. In church nga, right, left brain din dun. Because you have to really now, you cannot, you cannot be divert, I mean, you cannot divert from what they had been teaching or telling you to learn or to understand. The moment you ask questions, they will not consider it. That's how they do it in churches. Exactly the same thing in schools.
Yep.
So ito ngayon, spiritual senses, which we have, all of us have. We just have to acknowledge them. We have to just learn them. And the first one is clairvoyance. Okay, I will read the text that I actually got as the definition of clairvoyance para we get the exact definition of this. Clairvoyance, the claimed ability to gain visual information about people, places, or events that are not present to the physically seen world, often described as clear seeing or inner dimensions. What is that? I mean, normally people see what we see. I mean, everyone would see the same things as others would see. Now, if you have a friend who sees something that we cannot see, anong tawag natin doon? Nananaginip or nag-imagine o parang ano ka dyan, ibang kabarehan. Diba? That's how we we, we say it. Parang, nakikita mo, parang ka nasisira siguro ulo mo, babaliw ka. But
Yeah.
actually, there are things really that are invisible, supposedly, but people really can see them as long as you are able to reach to that other dimensional level. And not everyone has up that has developed to that next level. Kasi nandun pa lang talaga tayo sa third dimensional, which is what we are now experiencing. So practically it's a material world, physical world. But now we're talking of spiritual senses. So again, these are things that are not seen physically, but are seen by others. If others can see it, why can't everybody? Yun
Mm-hmm.
pala, yun lang nga. May blocks lang tayo. We need to understand how to develop it in such a way that we can also develop later on that kind of particular sense. It's a sense. So sabi nga natin, 15 senses ito. So being able to see, what is that? Ano na ito mga ginagawa? What are this? What do they do? I mean, these people who have these gifts. Well, they call them gifts right now, but they're not supposed to be gifts because everyone should have them. Okay, these people can actually see or know something that has not happened yet. Sabi nila, may mangyayari sa araw na ito. And so they're able to know, tell people that there is something that's going to happen without actually having any proof. So that's how we look at this, what we call being clairvoyant. And then eventually when that time comes, nangyayari nga, totoo pala. So paano nalaman? Because what we now are able to explain is that we have to acknowledge that there is no past, present, and future. I mean, there's no future and past. There's only the present. The future actually can be seen in the present. So if it can be seen in the present, present na rin yun, di ba? I mean, okay, but again, people might get confused. What we now see as past, present, and future are all already out there. We just have to select. We have to choose only which ones to look into. But it's already there. So the moment you look into that particular thing, yung pala yung tinitingnan mo, it's still in the future, supposedly. But actually, it's already there because everything is here and now. Everything is already with us. So talagang the future is already there. But people who have this sense of clairvoyance can already see that. And so, yun ang dapat natin ma-develop. And we can develop that. The next one is, unless you have one, you want to add to that. You want to say
Mm.
anything
No,
with
I'm
that?
clear.
No,
Mm-mm.
you're clear. All right. The next clair, it's all clear. Clear. The next clair is clairaudience. Now, clairaudience, the claimed ability to hear messages, voices, or sounds from non-physical sources such as guides, angels, or the subconscious without using ordinary hearing. All right. Again, I will repeat the claim ability to hear messages, voices, or sounds from non-physical sources like angels, guides, or the subconscious without using ordinary hearing or the ears. All right. Di ba? Sabi nga natin may bumubulong sa akin. May kumakausap sa akin. Sino? Basta, hindi ko alam. Basta may buhok na nagsasalita sa loob ng mind ko. That's already what we call clear audience. Okay, I'll give another example to that. Um, when you went to a place that is considered haunted, a haunted place, because many people died there. I'm talking of this hotel in Baguio, Hyatt Hotel, that was destroyed by an earthquake. And the bodies were not anymore taken out from that particular place kasi the whole building collapsed. And to actually get the bodies, you have to take out tons of rubbles or rocks and or cement, and it would be kind of a waste of time. But what they just did was they left it there. They considered the place condemned or nobody can enter it anymore. So parang it became a graveyard already. But they didn't anymore retrieve the bodies because it would be hard to retrieve from the from the tons of cement that actually covered everyone. So,
Wow.
sabi nila, it's a haunted place. Sabi ko, sige, let's one time, let's go there and look at it. And so one day, my friends from Manila, during the time, because I was already staying in Baguio, they visited me and said, sige, at 12 o'clock, let's go to Hyatt. And so we went. At 12 o'clock, we were there in front of the gates of Hyatt. And then, makikita mo naman sa loob there are still some things that you can see, but since it's dark, talagang halos wala. So, we said, hello, anybody there? Naka sa loob namin.
Oh
Nangangubos pa
my
kami.
God.
So, we were just there outside the gate. So, tatlo kami nun girl at ako, another guy. Tapos, nga, titignan namin if there'll be a ghost that would actually appear. Kasi haunted daw nga And so, wala, mga several minutes 10 minutes wala nangyayari. And then, mamaya ako, nakakarinig. Mga hiyaw, yung mga people wailing. Parang sakit, yung parang nasaktan sila. Sabi ko, uy, ang lakas. Sabi ko, nadidinig pa ninyo. Niiyak sila. Nihingi ng tulong. Nobody heard it among the three of us except me. Sabi ko, hindi, ito, lakas talaga. Nadidinig ko, sabi ko. Sabi nila, wala kami nadidinig. Hindi, galing doon sa ano. Sabi ko, bakit ganun? Ako lang ang nakakarinig, sila hindi. Anyway, so, akala ko, baka ako lang ang may diferensya or whatever. Kasi, sabi ko, bakit ako lang ang merong galong sabi ko, kung wala yun, sabi ko, baka guni-guni ko lang yun. Pero hindi. Sabi ko, alam ko, totoo kasi I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, during the time, pauwi na kami, papunta na kami sa car. Biglang sabi nung guy na kasama ko, o saan galing yung tao na yun? Tumawid. Wala naman lalabas dito kasi gate yung, galing kami sa gate meron biglang lumabas doon sa kwan, tumawid. Tapos sabi, saan napunta? Wala Naku, sabi ko. Sa naman, may nakita na. Yun. Ayun. And so, doon na namin talaga na we can have these senses talaga. My friend saw it. So, ano siya? The clairvoyant. So, basically, he saw it. No? Ako clair, audience. Hearing. No problem. Yun ang gift. So, that's exactly what happened. So if you have that kind of an ability to hear from unseen beings, like many of us now hear from angels, from their guides, mga download. Ikaw, I think, you often get downloads from, and so you know exactly where they're coming from. So we're experiencing that, and that's not something unusual. It's a real sense, part of our 15 senses, clairaudient. Yung mga nag-channeling, or even mediums as well. Those who actually hear from the past relatives of other people. Of other relatives of other people, dead relatives, rather. So they're not anymore visible, but they can still be heard talking. However, you are able to have this kind of an ability. So it's, again, one of our 15 senses, very audience. All right. You want to add anything to it?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Yep, it's clear.
The next one The next one is clair sentience. Clairsentience is the claimed ability to sense or feel information through bodily sensations, such as gut feelings, physical sensations in the body, or emotional impressions about people or situations. Di ba? Minsan, may nararamdaman tayo sa chan or sa, or gut feeling nga. Yung parang, hindi eh. Basta alam ko eh. Kasi feel ko eh. Ako, malakas doon, gut feeling. I mean, many of the things that had happened to me, I learned it first through what I felt. And then eventually I was able to say, see, I mean, I told you so. It was really true na nandyan yan for whatever that was. But I had that gut feeling noon. Gut feel. So may physical sensations. Minsan nararamdaman mo sa stomach mo. Parang there's something that I feel in my tummy that hindi yung gutom. Kasi yung gutom iba yun. When you actually feel something na parang hindi ko masikmura. Yan. Yung mga ganyan. Parang nakakatakot. Parang yan. So parang you feel something at once in your body. Even if it's not visible. A lot of people who have this kind of ability, when they go to haunted places, they often feel the cold weather. It's not really cold weather, but they feel cold. Lamig. Meron content talaga. So they know that there is a spirit or a soul inside a particular place or a house or whatever. They know na yun ang gift nila. Yun na, gift natin lahat yan eh. Kaya lang sila, mas malakas yung pakiramdam. Sabi nga. So, nararamdaman ka ganila. Like when we went to Corregidor, I mean, we had a tour with our assumption students. There was this professor na kasama ko na lalaki na kami ang madalas magkasama when we were guiding the students. Pag pumapasok kami doon sa mga parang doon, I don't know, there were some places there, hindi siya move forward. Sabi, ako, ikaw na lang pumunta dyan. Ayoko. Bakit? May nakikita ka ba? Wala eh. Kasi may nararamdaman ako na ganun siya. So talaga alam niya. Yung goosebumps, I get goosebumps talaga. That's really how it is. You get to really have this kind of a reaction when you have a strong sense of being clear, sentient. Yun na nga, no? Yung gut feeling. Alright, so maraming tayong nakikitang instances na nangyayari na sa atin yan. So we should not be afraid of it. We should actually develop it because it's one of our senses talaga. Because to live in the next world, we have to be able, not only physically be aware of who we are, we have to be mentally aware and spiritually aware. And so knowing all these things is important. It's very important to understand that we have these gifts. These are not gifts actually because it's for all, but we have to develop them. But we were not able to learn them because they were not taught in our schools. Ang tinuro lang sa atin yung 5 senses. Saka yung ilan doon sa mental senses. Pero doon sa spiritual, lahat yun, wala. Obviously, they didn't want us to become powerful, to know more about who we are. They control really our being a human being. Talagang, hanggang dyan ka lang. Ito lang yung tuturo namin sa'yo. Ito lang ang kaya. But see, I mean, if you are able to now foresee the future, see things that normally are not seen, that's one of the powers that we really need to have. No, we just have to understand what these powers are. Okay. The next one is
Oh, I want to add something.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sige.
It's okay. This gift I have, this one is developed on me, and I just wanted to share a story. This happened when I was in Florida. There were there were I think total 3 car accidents. So I've lived many
Oh,
years in Chicago. I never got into an accident, but when I moved to Florida, there were the total time that I was there, I had 3 car accidents, and
three
each
car accidents.
three
You involved.
separate
You were involved.
accidents. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
always
you were
the
involved
one.
in.
Yeah, I'm always the one who's getting rear-ended. I'm not.
You were the
It's
one
not.
driving.
I'm driving, but the other cars were the one who hit me.
Ah,
I
okay.
always I always get rear-ended. But those 3 times, one was in Winter Park. I was getting out of work. The second time was in I believe this is in 408. It's one of the highways. And the other one
Okay.
is in I-4, one of the highways. And
Alam ko yung 409.
all 3 times that I was hit, just a split second, I was able to look at the rear view mirror
Mm-hmm.
and
And what
and
happened?
saw that it was something's about to happen.
Ah,
Those three
okay.
times. So I was aware that
Talaga.
I was aware that something's going to happen. Those 3 times, those 3 car accidents. Um, yeah, just split second. I was able to look at
So,
the rear view mirror and see what's about to happen. But um, we're taught how to maneuver the car when something like happened. So I there was never a panic or anything like that. You're supposed to just slowly go to the side of the road. So, but yeah,
yeah,
they're
that's a
gifts.
way of
These are
really
powerful
knowing
gifts.
how to avoid whatever is coming to you,
Yeah, but
if you are able to avoid.
there was one time, it's very, very strong. The third time, the third accident, I had a really, really strong feeling. That was in an impromptu trip, but I had a feeling that something's going to happen. But it didn't stop me from going to the place that I wanted to go, because there was a time. Um, it's very important that I get to that place. But anyhow, it happened, and I was fine. Um, all my cars are good cars, so they've always protected me. And of course,
Yeah,
God is always protecting me. The other time that I feel this really strong is when I'm about to win, when I'm about to win um a contest or a raffle. And I always win when like when we have raffles at work. I mean, we're not
yeah,
talking
swerte
about
ka ha.
small gifts. We're talking about big gifts. So I've won a TV, I've won computer, stuff like
Yeah,
that. But what I wanted to I'm sharing this because what I wanted people to understand is your energy affect your
yeah.
energy affected.
Everything is energy. Ah, okay, buti na lang you mentioned the word energy. Everything is energy. That's
Yeah.
why all these things really are possible because we're all connected. We're all one, connected with each other. So, yun yung we need to learn. But that was not again taught to us when we were in school, that everything is energy.
And
All right. So,
you can
and you can
manipulate
manipulate it.
energy, and they don't teach us these things in in school, because if you understand how to manipulate energy, you may use it to purposes
Yeah, to
that are not good
do.
for everybody. So, but one other thing that I want to add is, um if you go to the supermarket and you look for toothpaste, you will not find, it's rare that you will find um, toothpaste that has no fluoride.
Oh, yeah.
If you really want to work on your gifts, your Claire Gibbs, make
Yeah,
sure you're not
third eye,
using a
fluoride.
fluoridated toothpaste because um, that's not going to help you. So set an
That's
intent to buy a non-fluoride toothpaste. Lux,
that's right.
um, yeah, I'm not gonna mention any. Just look for it. You'll find it.
Yeah, basta non-fluoride. Yeah.
Yeah, non-fluoride
Okay.
toothpaste.
All right. Okay. So let's go to the next one. It's claircognizance. Claircognizance is the claimed ability to know information instantly and with certainty without any apparent source or prior research, often described as a sudden knowing or insight. An insight. All right. All right. Again, the claimed ability to know information instantly and with certainty without any apparent source or prior research, often described as a sudden knowing or insight. Remember, I told you, or I've been always telling people that I never learned anything in school because left brain ko bakante. I mean, I never used my left brain. It was always my right brain. But the right brain was not being given importance in schools. And so, okay, what do I mean by that? What am I trying to drive at? I would go to a particular session, for example, a meeting, without knowing anything that's going to be talked about or what the agenda is. And somehow parang sabi na, oh, sali ka dito sa ano namin. Sabi nila, we're having this, I don't know, I forgot the term that they use. Yung parang they're trying, it's not exactly a debate, but they're trying to battle, storm. Ayun, storm. The word storm is there.
Brainstorming.
Storm brainstorming. Yeah, we're brainstorming kami ganito. Kasi we want to know exactly what to do with our marketing strategy for our product as to how to sell it better, ganyan. So, andun lahat yung mga experts, kuno, experts in all their ano talaga, no? With all their kind of research that they had done to be able to explore more as to how to promote the product. They presented everything. Ako, wala, I was just listening to them. And every time, wala naman ako talaga, wala akong participation do sa ano na, parang saling pusa lang ako sa brainstorming. But normally, every time I attend such brainstorming, ako yung nagiging main, uh, kumbaga parang call it main attraction. Kumbaga ako yung nagiging pinaka-importanting tao doon because I had been able to really give the correct way of looking at it or the correct answer without any prior study or research. Basta sabi ko, I just know. I don't know why I know. I just said it and yun na nga. And sabi niya, but what you said is what we want to implement exactly. We're happy that you came today. So sabi ko, all right, this did not happen only once. Doon, na-realize ko doon ako magaling. Because sabi ko, right brain ako eh. When you have that right brain thinking as against the left brain, ang left brain, wala eh. Left brain, you try to memorize, you try to research, you try to read, and then later on, when things are, when things change, definitely all the things that you know on your left brain are obsolete. Ako, wala akong alam. Basta I know everything already. That's what I tell myself. Basta ako, I will just arrive at that answer because I have already everything inside me. Ganun ako eh. I mean, I believed in that already ever since. So, hindi naman ako nagyayabang. Basta sabi ko lang, As a matter of fact, palagi nga ako patawa eh. Yung mga sinasabi ko parang, ano yung mga sinasabi mo? Weird. Ang weird mo. Pero the moment they see the connection with the things that I've been saying, and then yun na nga, lumalabas na tama yung direction na inaano ko. Sabi ka nila, paano ka nag-iisip ng ganyan? Bakit ikaw ang nakakakuha ng tamang ng answer? That's why I was always being pirated on by companies eh. Because basically that's how I thought, I think eh. Hindi ako yung dadating doon na prepared talaga lahat ng pagsasabi ko. Wala akong plano talaga pagdating ko ron. Wala, pagdating ako ang magsasabi na. Tapos yun lang ako, minsan nga, lang ako, nag-aasar lang ako parang, kasi nga, ako minsan alam ko, mali talaga yung mga sinasabi nila eh. Sabi ko, hindi, ganito lang yan. Tapos mamaya, I would give now exactly the solution that they want to hear. And so, yun. And that's exact, I think that's my gift, recognize. But we all have that. Sabi ko nga eh, I thought in, lahat meron nun eh. Doon ko na-realize, hindi pala lahat. Kasi lahat ng mga kasama ko, lalo na sa academe, puro left brain. Ako lang yung right brain. I thought I was the one who was out of the picture. Yung pala, ako pala yung maraming alam kasi sa kanila in terms of everything na bago or that's more practical. Because sa kanila, they had already gotten it from a study na gano'n na nga yan. Pero again, as I've said, na-prove na yan, okay, tama. But is there something new, newer than that? Hindi na nila alam kasi yun ang latest nila. Eh ako, wala akong alam. Pagdating ko doon, titignan ko lang yung mga narinig ko sa kanila. And then later on, I would say my piece. And eventually, I am able to prove myself better than what they had presented. And so that's how I get to my positions. Halagi, kuminsan nga napopromote ako to my, to the position na talagang inutil ako talaga. Because sabi ko, why would you promote me here? I don't know anything. So sabi niya, you know everything eh. What do you mean you don't know anything? Hindi, kasi nga, I'm not prepared. I mean, I never graduated from school, from college. And here you are with these people who have master's degrees and PhDs. And sila mas may alam. Tapos sabi ko, bakit ako nandun? And so, that's how I was able to prove that, yun na nga, everything that is on your left brain will be obsolete at one time, at one time or another, whatever. And then if you don't have anything new already, since you don't want to study anymore, wala ka na. So talagang, and you will just rely on what you know. Obsolete na kayo, alam mo, talagang wala. Wala mangyayari sa buhay mo. That's how I look at many of these congressmen that I'm watching on television. Sabi ko, debate kayo ng debate siya. Hindi nyo alam po talaga kailangan na gawin eh. I mean, you talk about, you say, this is what you should do, this is what should be done. And sabi ko, ha? And so, this is what we're now seeing. Of course, I let it be because I just want to see the system collapse already in front of my eyes. So, hinahayaan ko na lang. Tulungan po ba yan? Huwag na. Tapos na yan.
Yep.
So, that's being clear. Clear cognizance. In other words, wala. Everything naman, as a matter of fact, all you need to do is just ask your guides to help you out there, or for that matter, anyone out there, any soul or spirit who had already known these things in the past, and somehow sabihin mo lang na, I need the answer now. Can you give it to me? And I will give it. I think many of the compositions that had been really, I would say, become number one. Like, for example, I'll give you another example. See Paul McCartney. Do you know that the song Yesterday, when he woke up the following morning, he had already the melody of the song, and then he wrote it. Yeah. And he never believed that it was his own composition. Sabi niya, I cannot imagine myself composing this song. I don't know where it came from. So he asked around, who is the real composer for this song? Yung Yesterday. Imagine, Yesterday is a beautiful song. But even Paul McCartney never acknowledged the fact that it was his because sabi niya, baka I might just have copied it in uh, in terms of remembering a melody na pinagsama ko lang and somehow came up with a new melody, but it came from an old melody pala. But hindi eh. It was original everything. So when nobody claimed, he already played it, recorded it, and voila, he came up with the song Yesterday. Beautiful song. Sabi nga, saan galing yun? This is how it works. Eh. Talagang, the universe will just download it to you. Eh. Everything that you need. Eh. If you're a composer, I mean, all the best melodies will be downloaded to you. Eh. That's what happened to the Beatles. Eh. I mean, in the short time that they were together, 4 years, they came up with all those albums. They would just, you know, go inside the studio without anything. Nadala-dala nila na ito ang gagawin natin. Ito. Wala. They would just jam. I saw how they actually did it because it was made into a movie. Eh. Nakakatuwa eh. They would just, play a melody and then mamaya sisingit yung isa. People, mamaya nabuo na yung kanta. Ang pangit sa umpisa. If you really would listen to it, you would think, oh, hindi pala magaling pala mag-compose ito mga ito. I mean, parang ako lang eh. Kaya ko yung ginagawa nila, sabi ko. Pero when they finish everything, naku, yun na. Ang ganda. Fantastic. I mean, that's how we are able to use these gifts talaga. That's why people need to know what their gifts are, what we have. Actually, it's not really a gift because all of us have that. So we have to just develop it. One, you can maybe, if you're not a composer, maybe in another field, doon ka magaling. Pero that's exactly what I'm trying to explain. We get it from out there. I mean, not out there because it's already with us. Everything is already with us, but somehow the nudge to really make it appear outside. I mean, na na maging we become aware of it. Just like si Paul McCartney, he became aware of it in a dream. So, and he remembered exactly what he dreamt of. No, okay. Anything you would like to add to that?
Yes, I made a couple of points here, so I won't forget. The first one is actually this is my strong gift. Clear cognizant is one of my strong gift.
Yeah, I know. I
I
know you are one.
I do have I get downloads all the time. Sometimes, like yesterday, it came. eh, It's so strong, one after another. And when I get downloads like that, I have to really do something with it very quickly. Otherwise, I might forget. So taking notes, you know, entering them in my computer is very, very crucial. But one of the things that I noted here is that when I was, you know, just starting my spiritual journey and learning, who we are as a human being, I'm not trusting these downloads in the beginning because, it was very, very new to me. So not trusting was
Mm.
one of the things that happened. And I had to there's always a need to get a confirmation, right? So one good example that I can share is when I back in 2020, 2021, there's a burst of download about the truth of our reality, which is what the Epstein files are revealing. So those downloads it never happened before. It was very abrupt. There were many. Just imagine if we had 6,000 or 6 million files of Epstein, that I feel like I got all of those six million files
I mean,
in one
I mean,
one
kasi
download.
hinayaan eh. I
So,
mean, nobody gave it that kind of importance then. They thought that was just nothing. So they
yeah.
allowed it.
So
And
what
so
I wanted
naipon.
to
Aba, 6 million, 3 million, or 6 million,
6
whatever.
million with
Imagine that.
images and everything. But what I wanted to say here is, yeah, from in the beginning, I needed to get some confirmation. So when these things were downloaded to me and I started sharing, and I'm getting a lot of pullback from Facebook friends, I had to go back and meditate on it and ask my guide. I said, "Are you sure I should be sharing these things because people are getting upset at me?" And they said, "No, you have to do it. You have to."
You have to
So I
expose
got to
it
the
really.
point. I got to the point where okay, nobody's listening anymore. I'm just gonna write this down because I'm not gonna keep this all in my head. There will come a time, which is now. So what? 4 years later, actually, during the time when I was contemplating on whether to write it, I was thinking, you know what? In a couple of months, people will know about this, and my book would be immediately obsolete. That's the thought process. So I was like, they're gonna learn that in a couple of weeks or months. But then there was a strong nudge. He said, and they said, no, 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 you have to write it. You have to write it. So I had to drop everything at that point and had to write and focus on it.
Yeah.
And then I'm glad I did because now 4 or 5 years later, this is it. I mean, I mean, it's high level. I couldn't go deep, deep, deep. It's enough for people to see specific words for them to you know, when they catch that word in my book, then it's enough for them it's enough to trigger them to look it up. So that's basically what I did because there's no way I
Okay.
can put everything in book two. And another thing is a lot of people they're not accepting these gifts. And that's the reason why they're not having an awareness. Another thing is you need to be intentional. You need to be intentional. So a lot of
Intentional.
times
Exactly.
people think about they overthink, they overanalyze, and they waste so much time. I know this, and because I'm talking from
Yeah.
experience, right? My entire life pretty much is it's my left brain that's working, being in corporate America, left brain, so left brain. So overthinking, we overthink a lot and overanalyzing. So what I suggest to people right now, don't waste any more time overthinking, overanalyzing. Whatever your
Yeah.
gut feeling tells you,
You
go
just
for it.
know.
Go for it.
Exactly.
Don't analyze it. If you need to get a confirmation from your guide, go for it. But don't waste time overthinking. It's sad because a lot of people are still stuck in that and they could not. This is the worst part. They could not decide. They cannot
Yeah.
decide. So
Exactly.
decide. What I'm gonna suggest is decide, and then if it doesn't work, oh well, at least you made a
Yeah.
decision. You're not stagnant.
That's
You're not stuck.
exactly.
So just make a decision, whatever that gut feeling is. Maybe you're guided to do it because there's a lesson that needs to be learned there. There's no right and
Mm,
wrong answer. We're here to experience things.
exactly. Just exactly. I also looked at myself. My colleagues often would say, ano ka ba? Hindi ka naman nag-iisip. Oh, actually, I will confirm that I really don't think. Why? Why don't you think? I know because I know. And I mean, I don't need to think. I know it's going to be that. I mean, how do you know when you're not thinking? Eh, yun na nga, why do I have to think? I know already. You think because somehow parang you're still doubtful. You think maybe this might not be the right thing. But if you know, confirm ka. I mean, talagang you believe whatever you want to really say there. And that's what people don't know. They don't have that kind of trust in terms of what they actually see or try to come up with. And they often doubt themselves. But if you really are able to really think, no, again, I don't want to use the word think because I said I don't think. But when you appear in terms of wherever you go, you already have that kind of a decision to go there, and somehow parang it 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 did not matter whether whatever happened actually transpired the way you wanted it, but you went there because as I've always made it, I mean, as my ano talaga parang mantra is, uh, there is a reason for everything. So I don't know why I'm here. There must be a reason. Basta I will just be here. So whatever happens later on, as ano nangyayari, I don't know. Basta at least there was something that happened. Well, I'm not aware at this point in time. But later on, I will know why I was in that particular place at that particular time. Because there are no accidents in the universe. Yun ang mga kong ko eh. So synchronicity is always at play in my life. Eh. That's why I know. I don't have to think. Eh. Sabi ko, you're already being guided. Eh. You're practically, because you are your own creator. We're talking of creation here. You create everything in whatever happens in your life. So what are you now creating at the moment? And if you don't like what you're creating, you can uncreate whatever that is and create something else. So what's the problem? Uh, they forget that they have that power to create.
Problem
Okay,
is, a
now
lot of times they don't take action. That's the problem.
yun na nga, kasi
The lack of
ayaw
action.
magkamali. They're afraid to commit
Mistake.
mistakes.
Don't be
Yun pa.
afraid to make mistakes. Oh my God. Then
Oo.
you're stuck. You
Ako
really
nga,
can't
I
move.
made the most expensive mistakes. I committed
Hmm.
really, wow, grabe mga opo, millions of pesos. Sabi ko na yun. So I learned a lot from that. Sabi nga nila, if you want to really see how successful a person is, look at how many mistakes he had committed or actually
That's how you
experienced,
learn.
and you will see.
That's how you
That's how
learn.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, kung hindi millions ang pinag-usapan mo, you never learn much. I mean, ni-risk mo yun eh. So, practically, I know already what I'm talking about when it comes to all these things. It's not easy. I mean, grabe, nag-decision ka na. Kung minsan, sayang. Hindi sayang. I learned so much about it.
Yep.
I learned so much from it. I'm not affected now anywhere by whatever that happens. Kasi it's just there. I mean, ano lang yan eh. We create everything. So, there was nothing lost in the first place. So, yun na nga.
There's always a lesson to be learned. But anyway, let's
Not only
go
that,
and let can
yeah,
we
the
talk
last one.
about
The
the
last one.
last one because we're almost in an hour. We haven't
Oh,
talked about
yun na nga.
creation.
Sabi ko, ito lang nga yun. Sabi ko, five senses na yan. Dapat natin explain last week. Ito ngayon.
Yeah.
The last one is clairaudience. Clairaudience. Clairaudience is the claimed ability to perceive sense, pangamoy, smell, that have no physical source in the surrounding environment, such as smelling flowers, smoke, or other aromas to convey information or messages. All right. What am I talking about here? Sometimes, for example, if you are really that sensitive and you want to be able to prove that that person, that you, the spirit of the person is the one you're really communicating to, somehow you want proof as to whether really the person is that person that you need to talk to. Kasi hindi mo siya nakikita. Patay na ako. Patay. But if you are really close to the person, you might be able to smell a particular perfume that the person uses. And you would know, yeah, I know this is the person because I can smell the scent, the perfume. So practically, that's how you use in practical terms, this gift, using scent without really seeing the one that is producing it. Kasi wala ka naman nakitang flowers, wala ka naman nakitang perfume, pero naamoy mo. Saan galing yun? Eh, di sa kanya na nga. Kasi yung kinakausap mo, you want proof that he is the person that you want to talk to. And then, yun na nga, that scent, which is invisible, was there. Flagrant. Amoy mo talaga. Lahat nakaamoy. So, what proof, what do you want? Di ba? I mean, those are the things that happen to us na ayaw natin kumisa paniwalaan. Hindi, okay lang yan. Chamba lang yun. Natsempuhan lang. And I mean, that's not exactly how it works. I mean, this is what really works. And so, yeah, I've ended already everything in terms of the 15 senses. So we need to be able to understand that we have all those gifts in us. So you might want to add to the last one.
Yeah, this gift, this is actually strong for me too, because there's a couple of times when out of the blue I would just hear this flower scent out of the blue, and it was my mom's
Mm,
scent, who's
mm.
who passed away back in
Sabi nga,
2020
nagpaparamdam.
2004.
Uh, sabi, nagpaparamdam siya.
Yeah, out of the blue for whatever reason. So I have to be
Yeah.
careful when that happens. What is it that what is the message? But great, that's I wanted to just my guides just came to me a few minutes ago and said, you need to ask that question. You need to ask that question. So when you were talking earlier, my nose kept itching. And I think when you look at this video again, a couple of times I had to like touch my nose, but it's really itching. What does that mean? Do you know? When your nose is itchy,
I don't
do
know.
you
Alam
do
ko
you
pag
know?
yung kamay mo, if your hand is itchy, you will have money. But if your nose is itchy, I don't know exactly what that means.
I I think because it happens sometimes to me, and I had to
Oh,
look it up. I had to
what
look
happened later on
I had to
when your
look
nose
it
was
up, but I
itchy?
think what it means, and I think if I'm not mistaken, it means people are talking about you right now at this moment.
Or
There's a group
some
of
people
people that
are
are
kind of
talking to you right
nosy
now.
about you.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah, something like that. Like people are
maybe,
nosy about
maybe.
you. Yeah. Anyway, um, so it's about an hour since we started. How long do you think you need to discuss what we're wanting to discuss about creation?
But
Can you
basically, this
discuss
is
it?
creation.
Okay.
Actually, these are all part of the creation process that I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about because we have to understand our senses. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, our senses is the one that guides us through our creative process.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things, unless we experience them, we're not able to know what we are really creating. So
Mm-hmm.
part of the creation thing that we need to understand is what we had just discussed, discussing the 15 senses.
Okay.
Because part of everything that we create has a particular thing that we can identify or not exactly identify from the normal point of view, but we can see it and somehow we can say, yeah, it's true. Because everything now that we're creating is not anymore, I would say, bound by, scientific uh, proof. Sabi nila, no, there's no scientific proof that that's true. Ngayon, hindi na. We have debunked all those science things that they have always been trying to tell us. Now they are open now to spirituality, quantum. Everything now is quantum. So that added to another dimension that they had to study again. And sabi nga nila, si Einstein mismo, I get this, you know, spooky, this word, this spooky thing that I need to understand. But what's happening now is what I feel. It's kind of spooky. Yun ang sabi niya, takot siya because it's different from what we had he had learned. And so somehow parang he's afraid. Kaya he used the word spooky. Imagine Einstein saying that. So ngayon, nangyayari na nga yung all the things that they never thought to be true or able to, that are possible. As a matter of fact, itong creative process that we need to understand, since we are multidimensional beings, it's infinite. I mean, we will keep on creating more and more and more. We cannot be limited. Unlike when we were in the 3D or the third dimension, we were limited by what we get to see, and um, uh, we were bound by physicality. But now we are into a new world, and we are really what we call multi-dimensional beings, different kinds of consciousness levels as well. We can become who we want to be. No limit. Whatever we want to create, we can do that now. Imagine.
Yep.
Wala na. Talagang wala na borders. Wala na ito lang yun. Wala na yung veil. The veil has been lifted. So everything is already out there. Remember, we're gods. And if you're God, what's your limitation? I mean, nothing. Keep on expanding, evolving. Kaya nga sabi ka nila, si God, na-reach na niya yung hangganan. Hindi na-reach ni God yung hangganan. Because God is God. And what is God? God is infinite. So if infinitely, it's still evolving. And so that's who we are as well. So nothing is going to stop us forever. That's creativity forever.
Okay. So
That's it.
one thing I wanted to add is I want to plug in my the video that I just recorded just before we went on this Zoom call. That's why I was a little late again. But I had a nudge to talk about this because this is very important about our human origin. So if you would look at my YouTube video, I talk about the human origin. We all know everybody knows what the school taught us about our how we got here, and we are also aware of what the church teaching about how we got here. But there might be a third way, and that third way would be your conclusion based on what I presented to you, because I presented different theories, and then through
Yeah,
that you
actually,
can come up with a third way of how we got here,
exactly.
and that
That's what
link
I'm
back
doing as well.
to that link back to these video and the last video that we created, because these two videos would probably not make sense to you, and I think that's the reason why I was guided to create this today, because these last two videos with Sir Tato and I, we probably not going to resonate with you unless you understand that there's a possible third way of our human origin. Like I said, um, need to it's a very short video, but 6 minutes video, but I presented some theories, and you can figure out
Yeah.
based on your conclusion on what the third way is. But the
Well, I
school
opened it
explanation is not it's not incomplete. There's questions. The church explanation is also incomplete. Okay.
exactly. That's why when I realized that particular problem, I knew I had to deal with the galactic concept already, the cosmic origin, or cosmic origin, because that's exactly where we started. We did start here on Earth. We're young human beings here on Earth. I mean, way before that was where we all started. And
Yep.
so that's when we actually learn about the other galactic beings, the other races. So, mahabang usapan yun. So later on, we will deal with them again as well. But at
Okay.
this point in time, we're more concerned with the disclosure, because
Yeah.
the disclosure will only now. The question here is: are we now going to disclose all the aliens, the 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 plenty races that we are supposed to be experiencing out there, or just a few. Yun ang kwan eh. Para lang matauhan tayo. Ito lang muna. Baka if you actually learn that there are so many millions of even, whatever thing that we can imagine out there who are like us living in the universe, masasya ka talaga. So that's exactly the question now, whether to present only a few of the galactic races or practically show them everything already. Mamasyak na sila lahat. But we eventually will go there. And definitely we will learn a lot, everything about it.
Yes, we're
So,
taking baby steps right now, because we cannot shock everybody. Otherwise, everybody will basically lose it, and we don't want that to happen. We're still in the positive trajectory, and all in divine timing. Everything is presented all in divine timing. Not
exactly.
early, not late, just the right
Yeah,
time.
tomorrow.
I wish. So we can
All right.
so we can move on.
Yeah, I mean, anytime eh. Kasi, yun na
Yeah.
nga, baka nga, hindi nga natin lulukohan tayo dito eh. Baka nga, mamayang gabi lang, o kaya mamayang isang oras, it's already there, happening.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
we don't
All
know
right.
that. But
We
we
don't
will
know the
receive
exact
messages.
timing. Yeah.
We
We don't
will,
know the
we
exact.
will feel it. We will feel it. Pag nandyan na biglang, okay,
Yeah.
alam ko na.
Yeah. This
Kasi
that this
we are
year
all
and next
connected
year.
eh. So, we will be able to feel it the
Oh,
moment it's there.
everybody will feel it.
Yeah.
Everybody will feel it. Anyway. All right,
Okay.
Pete.
Anyway,
That's
yes.
I'm
I'll see you
glad again that
next
you're
week
able
again.
to talk about this more, and we'll see you again next week.
Yep.
Okay. Bye
And next
everyone.
Friday. Bye. Bye. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.